Hello creeps! Andy here, and today I have my most anticipated 2025 horror/thriller books. Now, I only did up to June because there's already a lot of books on this list, and I don't know how helpful it is if we just, if it's an hour-long video, I don't know. So what I'll do is at the end of June, I'll do one for July through December. And also, I feel like that gives me a chance to be like, oh, I also forgot this book came out and that one, because I'm positive that I will have forgotten some of them. So for the January books, actually, I got two of them. So let me just show you my January reads. This Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chapman. I just loved the cover. I thought it was really interesting. I already read the beginning. The inside also really cool. I already read this in my last book haul, but basically it seems more political than anything, but it's like their family gets sucked into politics and turned into mindless zombies, and so they try to stop that from happening, kind of thing. And then this is the new Grady Hendrix Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and the cover is just absolutely beautiful. It sounds really interesting. It's about this home that pregnant women get put into, and it seems like the people who run the place try to control them, and they end up finding witchcraft to kind of gain their power back. At least that's what the beginning seemed like. That's what it sounded like to me. So those two are already out. I haven't read them yet, so I'm not sure how they are. And then the only other January book, which it kind of looks like this says June, so let me double check. This is called Famous by Blake Crouch. And this one comes out January 14th. Oh, so I guess it is already out. I love Blake Crouch books. Everyone that I've read, I've at least enjoyed to some capacity, so I'm really excited to read this. A lot of these are writers that I've read their books before and I enjoyed them, so I'm looking forward to their new reads. Some of them I honestly just found and thought that they either sounded interesting or the cover looked cool. Yeah, so it's kind of a mixture of books that I'm excited about because they're new and fresh, and books that I'm excited about because I like the authors. So this Famous one says, meet Lance, a 38-year-old. He works a meaningless job, still lives above his parents' garage, by all costs a world-class loser, except one glaring exception. He has a $1 million face. Lance has been mistaken 28 times for the Oscar winner movie star James Jansen, and for the last 10 years, he's saved money, studied Jansen's films, his moves, his idiosyncrasies, even the way he speaks. Now, after an unceremonious termination from his job, Lance has decided that the time has come to go after his dream. From New York's ridiculous avant-garde off-Broadway scene to the surreal glitter of Los Angeles. Follow Lance on his madcap journey of self-abandonment to become his likeness, part comedy, part human tragedy, and part suspense. The world through the eyes of Lancelot Blue Dunquist is like none you've ever seen. So weird because it sounds so different from anything else Blake Crouch has written. On February 18th, this Birthday Party Demon by Wendy Dalrymple comes out. The cover looked funny. It looks like a book I would have enjoyed as a kid. I don't know. It kind of it looks like a YA novel, which I usually don't typically like. But I don't know, there's something about this that just seems fun. It says, BFFs Tina, Eve, and Lacey come together for a Sweet 16 slumber party that goes sideways when they accidentally summon more than a good time. After Lacey becomes possessed and traps her friends in a fashion catalog, Tina and Eve must find their way out of a totally fabulous new world before the demon overtakes Lisa's body completely. Wendy's YA pink horror novella is a 90s fever dream that marries the witchy vibe of The Craft with the campy flavor of Jennifer's Body and a neon splash of My Best Friend's Exorcism. So I think the reason why this sounded so interesting to me is because it reminded me of slumber parties in the 90s, and yeah, The Craft was a huge thing. I mean, me and at least all my relatives would write spells from The Craft and stuff, and we would all play light as a feather, stiff as a board. It was a weird time, and so this just feels like it's gonna bring me back to that time, so I'm actually really excited to read that one, even though I'm not too big into YA. Next, on February 18th, we have The Vengeful Dead by Darcy Coates. This is number 5 in the Gravekeeper series. Yeah, number 5. And I don't really want to read about it because I'd rather just pick it up, but basically the series so far has been This girl wakes up in the woods. She doesn't know who she is, but she knows people are chasing after her. So she ends up finding a town nearby, and the town ends up, a few people in the town end up kind of like adopting her, not like as in their children, but helping her out. And she can speak to ghosts. She ends up getting a job kind of helping to clear the spirits of the graveyard to release them into the other realm, all while trying to figure out her past. So in the 4th book, I feel like we got to learn some about her. So interested to see what this one will be like. And, obviously I love Darcy Coates, so I'm going to read whatever the hell she comes out with. Okay, next up, we're going off to March. So on March 4th, we have The Unworthy by Augustina Bazterrica. So this is the writer of Tender as the Flesh. And she also wrote that 19 Claws and a Blackbird. That was a book of short stories. This one says the long-awaited new novel. Okay, so it is a full-length novel. I'm really excited for that. From the global sensation Tender as the Flesh. A thrilling work of literary horror about a woman cloistered in a secretive violent religious order while outside the world has fallen into chaos. From her cell in a mysterious coven, a woman writes the story of her life in whatever she can find. A discarded ink, dirt, and even her own blood. A lower member of the sacred sisterhood deemed an unworthy, she dreams of ascending to the ranks of the enlightened at the center of the convent and of pleasing the foreboding superior sister. Outside, the world is plagued by catastrophe. Cities are submerged underwater. Electricity and internet are non-existent. The bands of survivors fight and forage in a cruel, barren landscape. I've been reading a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff, so excited to pick this up. But when a stranger makes her way past the convent walls, joining the ranks of the unworthy, she forces the narrator to consider her long-buried past and what she may be overlooking about the enlightened. As the two women grow closer, the narrator is increasingly haunted by the questions about her own past, the environmental future, and her present life inside the convent. How did she get to the sacred sisterhood? Why can't she remember her life before? And what really happens when a woman is chosen as one of the enlightened? A searing dystopian tale about climate crisis, ideological extremism, and the tidal pull of our most violent exploitative instincts. This is the author's unforgivable novel from a master of feminist horror. I am excited. That sounds fun. Obviously, I knew it was going to be some sort of like social commentary because so was Tender as the Flesh, This one just says a March date, and there's no, I couldn't find a cover or anything. I can't even find this on any other website. It must just be a different publisher. But it's called The Organization is Here to Support You, and this is by Charlene Ellsby. So I've read a few of her stranger books this year, Hexus and Violent Faculties. Violent Faculties I absolutely loved. This says Clarissa left home to work for the organization, a live and work community known for its respect for employees. Finding herself entrapped in bureaucratic horrors, Clarissa considers leaving the organization. Find her online love Richard, a researcher whose work the organization supports, but leaving the organization isn't easy. That's all it says. I don't know. So I'm not sure about that one. Hopefully it'll be easier to find when it comes out. Otherwise, we have two coming out March 18th. This one coming out March 18th is The Summer Guests by Tess Gerritsen. This is the writer of those Rizzoli and Isle books that I love. And this one is actually number 2 in a series. The first one, I don't know where it is. So I don't want to read what this one's about because I haven't read the first one yet, but I bought the first one to be able to buy this one. It just says, it's a follow-up to The Spy Coast, plunging the Martini Club into the search for a missing teen. So basically what I remember from that one, The Spy Coast, was that it's a group of retired spies or FBI agents, and they work together. They're called the Martini Club, and they work together to try to figure out something. So it looks like they're back again for this second round. I don't want to read too much into it, but I am excited for that one. And the next one is actually a Philip Fracassi book. That is our book club read for this month, is Boys in the Valley. So if you guys want to join book club, you still have a little bit of time. I think it'll be next Sunday. Well, I don't know when you're watching this, but he's coming out with a few books this year, which I'm very excited about. This guy will also come out March 18th, and it's called The Third Rule of Time Travel by Philip Fracassi. It says, Rule 1, travel can only occur to a point within your lifetime. Rule 2, you can only travel for 90 seconds. Rule 3, you can only observe. The rules cannot be broken. In this riveting science fiction novel from acclaimed author Philip Fracassi, a scientist has unlocked the mysteries of time travel. This is not the story you think you know. The rules are only the beginning. Scientist Beth Darlow has discovered the unimaginable. She's built a machine that allows human consciousness to travel through time to any point in the traveler's lifetime and relive moments of their life. An impossible breakthrough, but it's not the traveler's an impossible breakthrough, but it's not the traveler has no way to interact with the past. But it's not the traveler has no way, I don't know. They can only observe. After Beth's husband, Coulson, the co-creator of the machine, dies in a tragic car accident, Beth is left to raise Isabella, her only daughter, and continue the work they started. Threatened by the ruthless CEO, Beth pushes herself to the limits to prove the value of her technology. Then the impossible happens. Simply viewing personal history should not alter the past. But with each new observation she makes, her own timeline begins to warp. As her reality constantly shifts, Beth must solve the puzzle of her past, even if it means forsaking her future. Okay, that, I just got goosebumps. I am so excited for that. That sounds great. It sounds like I mean, not exactly, but it sounds like it plays with time a lot. Give you a little bit of an existential crisis, like that Blake Crouch book. What's that one called? It's this one. Recursion. Don't fall. Okay. Yeah, so very... It's raining eyeballs. Okay, this one, guys, this cover has got me in a chokehold. This is called Root Rot. This comes out March 25th. This is by, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. I apologize. Saskia Nislow. Look at this cover. I'm already in. I don't even care what this is about. I'm gonna read it. It says, come meet the liar, the secret keeper, the crybaby, and the rest. 9 children travel with their families to their grandparents' vacation property where strange things begin to happen. Eyes blink from the bottom up. Mushrooms ooze blood. People's faces don't hang right anymore, except they do once you look more closely. Transformations warp the children's sense of time and place. The very land itself seems to encroach upon them. As the liar watches the children succumb one by one to the unknown fate, she must make sense of absent stars in the night sky. Vials of amber liquid that taste of milk, a funny little rope tied in knots. She's faced with a choice, join or resist. Only the choice is not so simple. Set in the grandfather's lake house as he continues to extend his property lines, and told in an eerie We of the Children, Root Rot explores predatory family dynamics, the boundaries of bodies and home, and how individuals choose to participate in or push back against structures that would harm them. This book may have been written for me. I am so excited. I have not read anything by this author. But this, the cover, everything, it just sounds like it's gonna be fucking cool. So I'm so excited for this. Same with this next one. I haven't read anything by this author either. Okay, I don't see a cover here yet, but I believe that there is a cover, and I believe there's eyeballs on it, which I think first caught my attention. But this is called A Feast of Putrid Delights by Valentina Rojas, and this is, again, coming out March 25th as well. It says, ever since surviving the attack of a local queer nightclub, Antonia's life has unraveled. She can't sleep, she can't think, and she certainly can't focus on the new restaurant her and her friends recently opened together in New York. The only solace comes in the form of a new experimental drug called Cloud. Gifted to her by a mysterious stranger with a peculiar lifestyle, chronic insomnia, miraculously cured, Chef Antonia finds herself consumed by a singular obsession, crafting the perfect dish, one petrified from all the rot of the universe. What? But perfection has a price, and Antonia is running out of time to pay it back. I don't know, man. It sounds really cool. I'm very excited for that one as well. Okay, cool. April. This is another one. This cover just got me. It's called The Cut. This is by CJ Dotson. I've never read anything by this author, but this one comes out April 8th, which is actually my brother's birthday. And it says, in this spine-chilling supernatural horror novel set in a mysterious hotel, a woman fleeing her abusive ex finds herself running from more than just her past. A historic hotel long past its prime and huddled along the Cut, a questionable Lake Erie beach, isn't Sadie Miles's ideal place to raise a toddler while also navigating her second pregnancy. After fleeing her abusive ex-fiance, though, Sadie's new housekeeper position and free room at Larpin Hotel are the best she can manage. On her first night, Sadie runs to help a guest struggling in the hotel's pool, only to find the water calm and empty when she gets there, leaving her with a lingering unease. When a guest then goes missing and her manager insists they simply left without checking out, Sadie suspects he's covering up darker goings on in the hotel. After her ex, Sadie won't let anyone convince her that what she's experiencing isn't real. So she keeps digging, quickly uncovering suspicious interactions with staff, mysteriously vanishing, security cameras, more missing guests, and things that go bump in the night, and drip in the walls, slither in the tub, and squirm in the halls. Everything isn't as it seems with the dim hallways of the hotel. Sadie has nowhere to go and nowhere to hide. She'll need to keep her wits about her to survive and keep her toddler and unborn child safe from whatever lurks nearby. I don't know. This one just sounded, again, really interesting. Oh no, I missed this one. This was on April 1st. My bad. Okay, so this is the last session. This is by Julia Bartz. I read her first novel a few years ago, and I was really impressed by it being her first book. So I wanted to pick up this one too. And it says, a white-knuckle locked room thriller about a social worker who, after coming face to face with her dark past, must infiltrate a mysterious wellness center in the desert of New Mexico. When a catatonic woman shows up at a psychiatric unit, social worker Thea swears that she knows her from somewhere. She's shocked to discover that the patient holds a link to a traumatic time in her past. Upon regaining lucidity, the patient claims she can't remember the horrific recent events that caused her brain to shut down. Thea's at a loss, especially when the patient is ripped away from her as suddenly as she appeared. Determined to find her, Thea follows a trail of clues to a remote center of southwestern New Mexico, where a charismatic couple holds a controversial monthly retreat to uncover attendees' romantic and sexual issues. Forced to participate in increasingly intimate exercises, Thea finds herself inching closer not only to her missing patient, but also to tantalizing answers about her harrowing past. However, time is running out, and then for whatever reason, Goodreads doesn't let me hit read more. So yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed her writing retreat book, so I thought I'd pick that one up too. And then we have April 15th here, Senseless by Ronald Malfi. You guys know he has quickly become one of my favorite horror writers, so very excited that he has a new book coming out soon. It says a page-turning, supernaturally tinged LA puzzle box thriller, Zodiac with Teeth, from the Bram Stoker winner. What do you see? When a mutilated body of a young woman is discovered in the desert on the outskirts of Los Angeles, the detective assigned to the case can't deny the similarities between this murder and one that occurred years prior. Media outlets are quick to surmise that this is the work of a budding serial killer, but Detective Bill Rennie is struggling with an altogether different secret that keeps him tethered to the husband of the first victim. What do you hear? Maureen Park, newly engaged to the Hollywood producer Greg Dawson, finds her engagement party crashed by the arrival of Landon, Greg's son, a darkly unsettling man. Landon invades Maureen's new existence, and the longer he stays, the more convinced she becomes that he may have something to do with a recent murder in the high desert. What do you feel? Toby Campen, the self-proclaimed human fly, begins an obsession over a woman who is unlike anyone he has ever met. A woman with rattlesnake teeth and a penchant for biting. A woman who has trapped him in her spell. A woman who may or may not be completely human. In Ronald Malfi's brand new thriller, these three storylines converge to create a tapestry of deceit, distrust, and unapologetic horror. A brand new novel. I'm so excited. This is gonna be fantastic. I can't wait for that one. This, again, the cover just spoke to me. This one comes out April 22nd, and it's called Eat the Ones You Love. You guys know, if there are eyeballs on the cover, I'm probably gonna read it. I don't know what it is, but this is by Sarah Maria Griffin, and it says, a twisted, tangled story about workplace love affairs and plants with taste for human flesh. During a grocery run to her local shopping center, Shell Pine sees a help wanted sign in a flower shop window. She's just left her fiance, lost her job, and moved home with her parents. She has to make a change and bring some good into her life, so she goes inside and takes a chance. She realizes right away that the flowers are just the good thing she's been looking for, as is Neve, the beautiful florist who wrote the sign asking for help. The thing is, Neve needs help more than Shell could possibly imagine. An orchid growing out of sight in the heart of the mall is watching them closely. His name is Baby, and the beautiful florist belongs to him. He's young, he's hungry, and he'll do just about anything to make sure that he keeps growing big and strong. Nothing he eats, nobody he eats can satisfy him except the thing he most desires, Neve. He adores her and wants to consume her and will stop at nothing to eat the ones he loves. This is a story about possession, about monstrosity, and working retail. It's about hunger and desire and other terrible things that grow. So in May, we have a book by Alex North, who I've enjoyed his work in the past, so I'm excited to pick this one up. This is called The Man Made of Smoke. This comes out May 13th. It says, the latest gripping serial killer thriller from Alex North. Dan Garvey's life has been haunted by the crime he witnessed as a child, narrowly escaping an encounter with a notorious serial killer. He has dedicated his life since to becoming a criminal profiler, eager to seek justice for innocent victims. So when his father passes away under suspicious circumstances, Dan revisits his small island community, determined to uncover the truth about his death. Is it possible that the monster he remembers from his childhood nightmares has returned all these years later? With his signature shock and suspense, Alex North brings us The Man Made of Smoke, in turn emotional, introspective, and utterly terrifying. This is a story of father and son, shadows and secrets, and the fight we all face to escape the traumas of the past. And then we also have another Philip Fracassi called D7. This one is out May 27th. And this one just says a haunted jukebox at an out-of-the-way dive bar not only lures patrons, but it doesn't allow them to leave. This haunted novelette comes from author of whatever. Nobody is safe in this story. So yeah, just a little novella. And then we just have June. So we have two books coming out June 10th. So this one's called The Bachelorette Party. There's something, this is by Camilla Sten. There's something about horrible things happening in what should be happy occasions that always suck me in. And this one says Scream meets the guest list in this wickedly compelling and compulsively page-turning thriller of friendship and murder from author of The Lost Village, Camilla Sten. I have not read anything from her. On a remote craggy island, nestled off the coast of Sweden, four friends, Tilly, Anna, Linnea, and Evelina, meet every year. Best friends since childhood. The idea is to drink beer, dance by the water, and shake off the weight of life's expectations. The location of the island is a secret to everyone but them. One night of reckless fun and secret sharing, and they return to their normal lives. 10 years later, ever since she was a teenager, Tessa Nilsson has been consumed by the story of four friends who disappeared on their annual trip to a remote island together. As her true crime fervor turns into a wildly popular podcast, Tessa urgently covered Sweden's most gruesome cases, but could never find the answers behind what happened to these women who disappeared, leaving a few maddening clues, but no concrete answers. Now Tessa's podcast has crashed and burned. Any chance she has at uncovering the truth vanishes with it. Annalise is Tessa's best friend, and before she walks down the aisle, she wants to have a bachelorette party. The Baltic Vinyasa, a sleek, sophisticated yoga retreat on a small island off the coast, one with such similar characteristics to the tragedy years ago that it raises the hair on Tessa's neck. I'm going to venture to say that they are the same place. The idea is to drink gallons of kava, do sunrise yoga, and get in the last chance to bond with the bride. Tessa will not pass this up. It's her chance to find out what happened to the four women once and for all, and it's someone else's last chance to get revenge. Sounds pretty interesting. And our last one here, second to last one, is With a Vengeance. This is Riley Sager's 2025 book. This comes out June 10th as well. I've read all of his books, so I will pick up this one too. It says, One Train, No Stops, A Deadly Game of Survival and Revenge. In 1942, 6 people destroyed Anne Matheson's family. 12 years later, she's ready for retribution. Under false pretenses, Anna has lured those responsible for her family's downfall onto a luxury train from Philadelphia to Chicago, an overnight journey of 14 hours. Her goal? Confront the people who have wronged her, get them to confess their crimes, and deliver them to the hands of authorities waiting at the end of the line. Justice will at last be served, but Anna's plan is quickly derailed by the murder of one of the passengers. As the train barrels through the night, it becomes clear that someone else on board is enacting their own form of revenge. And they won't stop until everyone is dead. With time running out before the train reaches its destination, Anna is forced to hunt down the killer in their midst while protecting the people she hates the most. In order to destroy her enemies, she must first save them, even though it means putting her own life at risk. And we have one more, guys. This one is by Lisa Jewell. This is set to come out June 24th, and this is called Don't Let Him In. I also really love Lisa Jewell books, so very excited to pick this guy up. This one says 3 women are connected by one man in this kaleidoscopic thriller. Restaurateur Patty Swan was the life of the party until the day a man pushed him into the path of an oncoming train, leaving his 20-something daughter Ash and wife Nina devastated. Shortly after Patty's funeral, the 2 women receive a surprise in the mail, a note and package from Nick Ratcliffe, an old friend of Patty's and a nondescript lighter that once belonged to him decades ago. This unexpected gift draws Nick and Nina closer together, much to Ash's dismay. Martha is a small-town florist with dreams of expansion. She lives with her second husband, Al, her baby, and 2 sons from a prior marriage. But they never seem to have any money, and with the constant traveling for work, she feels like a single parent, especially when an emergency makes her realize something needs to change. But Nick and Al may not be who they say they are, leading these 3 women on a shocking collision course, wishing they had heeded a warning. Don't let him in. I got chills too. So those are the books that I'm most excited about so far, the first half of the year. Please let me know if there are any you're excited about. Hopefully I didn't miss any, but again, I'll make a second part to this video sometime in June, and then I'll let you in on any that if I missed out, or you know, on my book hauls, I'm sure that I'll let you know which ones I pick up too. So yeah, excited for those. Let me know what you guys are excited to read this year. There's a lot of great horror coming out and some good thrillers, so it's gonna be a good year for horror. I can feel it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another horror video. Bye guys!